So this session is how to move event attendees to monthly donors. Our presenter is Heather Kemper. She is currently the Director of Development for Miriam School and Learning Center. It is a St. Louis nonprofit that empowers children with learning disabilities. She's also CFRE, Certified Fundraising Executive, and has spent over 2 decades helping nonprofits expand their mission and vision to the community. So we're so grateful that you're here, and hopefully everybody will be able to ask lots of questions and go back to their organizations to increase their donors. And again, so help me welcome.
So how was lunch? Are you guys full? Did you guys have a good one?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, tell me, what position, oh sorry, she's just like, I gotta move around. Okay, great. What positions do you guys have in your roles right now? What's your titles?
Director of Development.
Director of Development?
Director of Mission Advancement.
Okay. Anyone different?
Congregational leader.
Okay.
Donor relations. I'm not a senior marketing and communications.
Great. Anything else different from that?
Communications and events.
Okay. Now, here's a question. What brought you to this position? This is always intriguing to me. How did you get involved with where you're at now and working with donations? Everyone came from, right out of college, right out of school, right out of whatever, like straight to nonprofit, and this is where my life was going? No.
I started out in marketing and PR, and then ended up with a nonprofit that kind of morphed into development. And you know, it wasn't a thing. I'm old, so I'm in the sunset of my career. So there was no such thing as development.
That's why we have CFREs, because there was no degree in nonprofit, right? What about anyone back here? Anyone that came from a different background than nonprofit? What about you?
I was a senior healthcare.
Really? Okay, that's great.
Yeah, I worked in healthcare for 10 years before, but I started as just a temp. That's how I ended up working. I started as a temp in the fundraising office.
Yeah.
And
they sucked you in, they drew you in.
They really did.
That's wonderful. Anyone else have a unique background? What about you?
My background is graphic design and marketing.
Okay.
And then COVID, I got laid off.
Oh.
And then just looking for a new job, I ended up as a tourism development.
Well, mine's very similar to a little bit of you guys. So I started in a nonprofit working with a public relations firm. So marketing, public relations, and just kind of graduated over to development. But we're going to go into a little bit of philosophy first. So if you don't know where you're going, any roads will get you there. What do you think that means?
Do what you gotta do.
That's what you gotta do. Yeah? If you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. How about planning? How about knowing where you're going ahead of time and then working backwards? So we're gonna talk a little bit about that today. So why do we host a fundraising event?
Raise funds.
Raise some money, yeah, that's probably the #1 question. But I want to get you guys thinking. What other reasons do we host fundraising events?
That's not why we do, because we never make any money at them. So
Okay.
it's more fundraiser.
That's what I mean.
Wonderful, to raise awareness, maybe bring some new blood into your organization, which is what we're going to be talking about today. Tell me, what one branded event does your organization do right now?
Spring benefit.
Spring benefit.
Franciscan night.
Franciscan, I like that. I worked at St. Francis. All right.
Hampton bingo.
Bingo, yeah, that's great. How many of you guys have more than 2 events a year? Okay, everyone please pray over these 2 right here. Okay, try to get your organizations to knock that down so you can have more donor relations, okay? You want to talk about that later? Talk to me later. All right. An event is not an isolated event. How many of you guys have taken off the heels at the end of the night of your events and thought you were done? Relief set in, you're like, oh man, we are done. That's wrong. Always be asking yourself, what's next, okay? So I'm going to be repeating this. What's next, okay? So most attendees are transactional donors. What does that mean? Transactional donors.
Biggest their main donation.
Yes. So you give them something and they will give you money, right? And that's it. Transactional donors. So why do they attend our events?
Because someone asked them to.
Yeah, someone asked them?
Yeah, mostly it's like they're company sponsored and then they send some of their employees to fill those spots.
We can talk about that later.
Yeah.
Don't give away too many seats at your gala, okay? Make sure they're, okay. So there's two sets of attendees. Ones that are connecting for the very first time, and they're usually invited by the ones that are already connected to your organization. We really need to be educating these people right here on how to talk about your organization and how to make the invites. Make it as easy as possible for these ones that are already connected to your organization. All right, challenge. Once this event is over, all things that attracted to them go completely out of their mind, right? But here's the challenge. Most of you guys, most development departments also take the attendees out of their minds. So we're gonna fix that, okay? So your job is to move these attendees, right? So they are showing interest because they're there at your event. Hopefully, they're now aware of you, who you are, and the impact you're making. And you need to move them along and get them involved, and then ask them again to make an investment. All right, so number one, big picture. How many of you guys have event committees when you guys host these? Good, good. Why do we have event committees? Because I need help, Heather. I need help. But it also it gets other people in your community more involved in your organization. Involve. This is what you want to do with people out in the community. I don't care if it's your development team, if it's your board members, bring them along for that journey. And if they say, I want a clown there and I want that, just take their suggestions. You don't have to use them, but get them involved into the process of your event. But with your event committee or your development committee or your board of directors, whoever, or your team, you need to start asking, what is the primary goal of this event? Is it a fundraiser? Is it to raise a certain amount of money? What is it? What demographic are you trying to target to get into your organization? What is their motivation for them to attend? We'll talk a little bit more about that later. And what would inspire these attendees to support the mission? What are you going to have there that's going to get them so excited they're going to just bust out their wallets and start giving? And then what type of event would help you to achieve your goal? So she wants a fundraiser. Would you say that would be a gala? No. If you just want, the community, like the Chamber of Commerce, to come and have fun, are you going to have a gala? No, right? So you have to really think about what your purpose of the event is, and then decide what you're going to have. All right, to ensure fellowship is a priority, this event is not the end of your task. You're always asking what? What's next? So 2 weeks post your event is most critical. 2 weeks post your event. So you need to block off time for that follow-up, and you need to assign these tasks to team members. If you have team members, if you don't. How many of you guys have team members? Good. How many of you guys do not have team members? I should be asking that. Okay, well, assign yourself a long list of things to do. Who's going to be doing the thank you notes or the acknowledgement letters? Who's going to be making phone calls, sponsors, volunteers, all that type. Wrap-up meeting. Who's going to be in charge of that? All right, 3, gather feedback. Assign listeners to the event. This is fun. So if you have your event committee, if you have your development committee, your board members, assign them to be little stickers at the event. You are engaging the big donors. Have a list of who you want to make sure is engaged at those. If they're new donors, if your board member says, hey, I'm bringing Sarah Smith and she's got quite a big pockets, have someone else go and interact with her. So if it's a gala, I will assign board members 3 different tables to go to, completely separate, away from each other. They're not just going to go bing, 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 okay? I want them to go to 6, 13, and 20 over here and go say hi and interact with them and kind of see how they're engaging with the event. But this is unfortunately what we focus on. We get so inundated with the logistics of the event and stressed out, we forget about the people. And we need to remember the people. I feel like someone's scratching my head. Come on in! You want to come on in? It's collaboration? No. We can't collaborate. I will, if you want to. But focus more on the people, listening to them, engaging with them, talking with them. Who needs to meet your CEO? Who needs to meet a program director to find out and to hear the stories directly of the impact that you're making in the community? And then phone calls to top donors. Call them and ask them, engage them and how they thought about the event. it's a way to talk to them. You're not asking them for money. You're just trying to see how they felt about the event. Sarah, what did you think about that music? I saw you cutting a rug out there. And then send quick, easy surveys. So this is one that I sent after a gala, and you want to keep and reiterate, even in the subject line, very quick, 4-question survey. This is a way to engage them, get their feedback, and kind of see your places where you can do better. And then, so over here are the questions. I know you probably can't see this. How did you hear about the event? What was your favorite about the experience? What can be improved? And then how likely are you to invite a friend? And then of course, just a separate not required. All these other ones are required because I want them to fill it out. And then one that's just anything else you guys want to add. That's again a great way to touch the attendees after the event is posted. And then what are we always asking? What's next? So I'm always trying to get them engaged more, so looking forward to seeing you again. Here's our website. This organization unfortunately didn't have like a tour or anything else that we could engage them in, so the website was my fallback for this one. But what are some other types of ways you can engage them in an email of what's next after an event?
Appreciation.
A what?
Appreciation.
Appreciation, yes. I was thinking maybe sign up for an e-newsletter. Maybe follow us on social media. These are non-ask type of things. What is it? Come for a tour. We have Tuesday talking tours. Invite them to show up and give them the information for that. Okay. So a person who feels appreciated will always do more than what's expected, right? So the number one reason people do not give to an organization again is that they're not thanked for their first gift. I unfortunately worked for an organization where they did not send out acknowledgement letters. So after the 24-hour, no, it was a mess. After the 24-hour campaign, I made sure we called every single donor. Every single donor. I'm talking $20,000 down to $10. It didn't matter. We called them and thanked them. Divvied it up between our teammates, people that were not on the development team. Our directors were giving calls. Our staff members were giving calls. And it was really neat in that connection that your staff member will have with that donor, because they'll ask them questions about what they're doing, and the staff member gets to see how important your job is too, as well as connecting with those people. All right, thank them immediately. Send a text email to all attendees. Text email. Now, if they give me a $10,000 gift, am I going to text or email them?
No.
Thank you. All right, create letters before the event so you can mail them in within 24 hours. I think CFRE is 48 hours, but I always say 24 hours. Anyway, so this is an example. One is a sponsor, one is for donors. Notice there's different photos on them. Not only can I tell them apart when I'm putting them in the mail, but also it also engages them in seeing the face of what the impact they are creating in our community. And of course, I'm asking them for something next. P.S. Follow us on social media. P.S. Check out our website. Come take a tour, etc. All right, thank your volunteers. We always seem to forget about our volunteers. Volunteers can become investors into your organization as well. Give them flowers, give them candy, maybe at a wrap-up meeting when you're talking about the good, the bad, the ugly of the event. Thank them. People love pictures of themselves. Write this down, sendoutcards.com. I don't sell it, I don't do anything, but I love it because I pop pictures on there and I send a card in the mail. And it's just really great. Even for my donors, if I see that they achieve some kind of award, I'll steal the photo, put it on a card, and send them a thank you note, or not thank you, a congratulations note in the mail. And they love it. They eat it up, especially if they don't know about sender cards. They're like, oh my God, how did you do that? That's amazing. I'm like, it's so magical. All right. Thank your sponsors. Again, photos. If they're at the event, grab a photo of them and send it to them. If they're not, maybe a program of their logo on it. But send them something and thank them. All right, call them. How many of you guys have a fear of picking up the phone? How many of you guys know someone that has a fear of picking up the phone? Okay, I have one of those too. But seriously, call them, pick up the phone, and talk to them. Handwritten notes are amazing. How many of you guys love handwritten notes? It's set apart from the regular acknowledgement letters, so please do it, especially if you're going to do anything, especially those higher end major donors, 2,500 and above, sponsors, etc. So then how many of you guys doing a donor appreciation event? Yeah? Good. If you don't, try to put that on your calendar somewhere. It can be very simple. We just had one at Miriam. It was very low key. It was at the school outside. We had beer, wine, water, and then also some light apps just from Sam's Club that we picked up. It was no big deal.
We only do it for like major donors
Yep.
though, and those who leave us in their will.
Yes, that's wonderful. That's
Okay.
perfect. So
So
we
we
do
don't-
2,500 and up.
Yeah,
That's
we
it.
don't do-
We invite our board members. They sit there. Actually, the board members fund it, if that's an idea for you. I think they each do $100. They pitch in, and then we have that. It's very low key. We invite our staff members there so that they can engage with those donors as well.
We did, yes, we have to acknowledge our major donors, but we did a consistent donor, I forget what we called it, but donors who had been giving to us 5 consecutive years plus.
I love
We did regional gatherings, and they loved it because they were like, we don't usually get asked. I mean, so you've got someone giving you $100 a year for 20 years. They should be invited because that may give them the opportunity to increase their gift.
I love that. We do invite our monthly donors as well to that, but I love that as well. That's good. Wonderful. Okay, personalized thank you videos. How many of you guys have ever thought about this before? You guys do that? Wonderful. Great. They love it. They eat it up. Just a quick thank you, especially on that 24-hour giving campaign. How many of you guys, do you even know what I'm talking about if you guys done a 24-hour campaign? Yeah, some of you? Okay, well, if $2,500, $1,000 came through, or someone that I knew that is just getting involved, oh my gosh, thank you so much, I can't believe that you did this, and just send it to them. And it's just a very quick thank you. It's a different way to thank them, and it's more personalized because they know that they are the only one getting that video. All right, again, the more you personalize it, the more genuine you will come across, right? Okay, so number 5, share your results. Don't just share the results, tell them what those results will accomplish, okay? So 1, share impact photos of what the money that raised will be able to do. Wherever you promoted this event, if it's a Facebook cover photo, if it's a Facebook image, if it's on LinkedIn, your website, etc., switch up that photo to say what you guys raised and thank the donors or whoever attended. Create an impact report. How many of you guys have created an impact report before? Wonderful. More than I thought. So this is one that was more for my board members and the stakeholders of that 24-hour campaign, but it showed them, the matching donations, kind of the numbers that we raised, some quotes from our staff and one of the donors, and kind of showed the reality of what happened for that one. This one is directly to that donor and telling them exactly what we did with those donations, and of course images of what they purchased. They purchased these nice chairs and some books and those are children, of course.
How long did it take you to produce that? Like, this was a 24-hour campaign. How quickly were you able to get that in the mail?
This was this took some while because I had to have the money come in and had to purchase it. This I take, our 24-hour campaign was just last 4th and 5th, which is the fact that I'm even vertical right now is amazing. But I'll probably put it together next week because we still are bringing all the So my urgency, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, my urgency is the thank you call for them and the survey. That's right away. But then this comes a couple weeks later and then kind of keep going from there. Okay, next steps. What do you want them to do next? So do you want them to subscribe to a blog, a newsletter, share your event video with friends, follow you on social media, sign a petition or pledge, maybe you're more advocacy, grab a cup of coffee or tea and talk some more, maybe get their feedback on the event. Hey Sarah, I know you were there, gosh, let's go grab some coffee, maybe you can tell me some tips and tricks on maybe how we can do this better. Watch a new video, maybe your organization is doing something new, a new program, maybe you want them to watch and see what that is. Become a volunteer. We have a resale shop and we always love inviting people to come volunteer there for a couple hours. Attend a tour. I love this. If you can, I've had some organization where it just wasn't possible, but if you can have a regular scheduled Tuesday talking tour, coffee and kids tour, whatever it is, this is so, once they get in the doors and they see firsthand the impact you're having, you got it. I mean, maybe. but most likely you got it, right? And then you can have your program directors talk about what they are doing. They see the space of what you're doing, maybe even see the kids or whoever you're having an impact on, and it's really nice. Okay, maybe you want them to do pro bono services for your organization. Join a monthly giving club. I'm getting somewhere, I promise. Join a major donor society, advisory council, young professionals. How many of you guys have young professionals? Again, it's another piece of getting people, the community involved in that. If you ever want help with that, message me later. It's such a great way. We actually, tonight is they do a social for success. These 21 kiddos, this is what they came up with for their friend raisers. They meet happy hour. Every other month they have a friend raiser, and that's the name that they came up with. They're pretty amazing. Join board of directors, that's always one, right? All right, finding major donors and securing major gifts requires a good picture of current donors and the research for prospective donors. So you gotta keep track. How many of you guys have a CRM system or an Excel spreadsheet? How many of you guys have an Excel spreadsheet? Oh, good. I still run into people that are still keeping track of an Excel spreadsheet. So then you guys already know, you guys are equipped. So what asks have been made, average major gift size, last secured gifts, and last contact made. You guys want to keep asking yourself, though, what's next? You got to keep setting those reminders in your CRM system. If they attended an event, that means, so my database manager, when she puts in that they attended an event, she puts in that 2 weeks later or something that I'm going to be making a reach out. So I will get alerted in 2 to 3 weeks that I need to go call Sarah again and make a touch with her. All right, so you cannot rush major gift solicitations. How many of you guys have been in a job and the board members want you to raise $600,000 as soon as you get there? It takes time. It takes a lot of time to build these relationships up. This is a journey and you are the guide. Okay, so create the donor timeline. So attend event, gratitude, show the impact, involve, and then you're gonna make another ask. We are gonna go through this yourselves on some ideas. So the reason why I was listing all those next steps or ideas for that, because I want you guys to think about what your organization can do. What works for Miriam School Learning Center isn't going to work for St. Francis, isn't going to work for a Child Advocacy Center, isn't going to work for Adoption Center or Pet Center, right? So you got to think about what are some options that you can do. So in one column I have, the time frame. So within 24 hours, what are you going to do? What are you going to do within 3 to 6 weeks? What are you going to do in the 3rd month, 4th month, etc.? But you have to keep making sure that you are alternating stewardship in between your asks. Otherwise, you're going to lose them. Right? You have to build that relationship before you get into another ask for them. Okay, so within 24 hours, right now I have call donor to thank them. What else do you think you can put in that box for your organization? You're never going to have homework, guys. What else can you do besides call them in that 24 hours?
Text.
Email.
Depends.
Yeah, text.
Send a little video.
Yes, exactly. I gave you some answers, guys. All right, 3 to 6 weeks. I have send a welcome packet. How many of you guys do a welcome packet to new donors? You do? Okay, so it's an envelope, obviously, and inside of there is maybe your annual report, maybe if you have kids, maybe it's an artwork, a little picture of them, maybe a news story of maybe, well, I was going to say KMOX, but you guys don't know. Something, a newsprint that your area has done on your organization. But just think about that. Welcome to the Miriam family. We're so happy you're here. Thank you so much for belonging. You're, just kind of giving them, again, next steps, but also welcoming them into the family. So that can be a next step. But what else can you do in that month 3 on giving them a touch? What about your organization? What do you guys do?
Have a sister call them,
Have a sister call them? That's great.
especially if they're an alum from one of
Yes.
our schools. Get one of the sisters who used to teach at that school to call them.
That's wonderful.
We'll send a greeting card depending on the time of year, if it's Thanksgiving time or Easter, something like that, just letting them know Sister's Prayer.
Yep, and it's a great touch. What about you quiet folks in the back?
We invite them to something like coffee and conversation.
Yes, okay, wonderful. All right, so then you're gonna ask them, so you thank them, you stirred them, you've kind of given them a touch, you've showed them the impact that you're gonna do, then you're gonna go and ask them for coffee, right? Because you want them to, you're gonna talk about your monthly giving. What is the benefits of monthly giving? What can you tell them?
Reliable revenue, reliable income.
Yes, reliable income, exactly. You can budget for the next year. You can more steward those dollars better if they would do monthly giving. Right? All right, then you're going to start all over again. You're going to show gratitude, you're going to show impacts, and then you're going to maybe ask for an online appeal. Maybe you have your 24 hours again, and then do it all over again. So the challenge that you have, though, is working with your specific event. So we just did a 24-hour campaign, right? So right away we did phone calls and we did surveys, and then next I'll be sending out the impact report here soon. And then after that we have holiday cards, exactly what you guys have. And then January we have our monthly giving campaign, and that's when I'll ask them again for funds. I will be either sitting down with them, we'll be sending out emails, email blasts, social media, etc., to get them involved and get them thinking about that. But those conversations, those one-on-one conversations on the benefits of monthly giving and getting, if you don't ask within a couple months or whatever for that second gift, you're doing yourself such a disservice by not asking them again for something. They want to be involved, especially when you're showing them the impact, when you're creating that relationship with them, they want to get more involved. So show them. We have this guy just gave us $30,000 for a van. Wonderful, right? Amazing. Should we have waited for a 24-hour campaign and not asked them for money? Heck no. We thanked him, we videoed, we picked him up in the vans, we did everything we can. It was time to ask him again. He didn't give us a lot. He only gave us, he gave us $6,000, but compared to 30, that's not as much. But still, he was so happy to do it because he knew how much we needed and the impact that it was creating for the kids that we serve.
What if you don't have an audience like that? In other words, I work for a congregation of retired sisters,
Yes.
okay? We're in a convent, and yes, they have their own little prayer ministry and stuff like that, but our donors are as old as our sisters, okay? So to get them to a facility like that, or to get them to make large gifts like that is challenging because they're planning for their own end of life, our donors, okay? They want to make sure that their kids are taken care of and everybody's taken care of. And if there's anything left over, then yes, I want the sisters to have it. So we don't have a younger donor base yet. That's what we want to achieve.
So am I hearing you right that your donor database are sisters?
No, the
Or
database
your-
is as old as our sisters.
As old
The
as your
median age of
sisters.
our donor base
Okay.
is like 83, 85 years old, the median age.
Right, so do they have family members?
Some do, some don't.
Yes,
You know,
I would start targeting them for, their kids and getting them invested into it. Hey, would you mind, little Bobby, they're probably not little anymore, but, little Bobby and Jane, and invite them on a tour or bring them over to have coffee with them. That's how we've done a lot of, because I think I was sharing with one of you, our donor database is fairly an older demographic as well. So I've been inviting their kids along with those coffee meetings and kind of engaging with them, and they get to see their parents and how important this mission is to them, and then they get invested as well. And involving them, we're looking for a board member, we're not really looking for a board member, we're looking for a board member. Would you be interested? Invite them to be involved on that development committee or event committee. Oh, I'm sorry, I made you move, didn't I? But yeah, just getting the offspring involved would be, I think, very beneficial. That's a tough one, I know. Yeah, and then what are you doing to go after new donors?
Well, we do, solicit the people that attend our events, in-person events. We follow up with them. But again, for the most part, I want to say 75–80% of those people who come to the event came because of the honoree. And they're not as engaged as the honoree is with the organization. They came because that's what you do.
Yeah.
But
And
to
now, have
get
you sat with them? Have you sat down with them?
I think it's kind of a little, it's difficult because if I'm coming to an event just because you're being honored, I don't know my organization from a hole in the wall. It's like a cold call. You know, for me to call and say, oh, you were at the event for Jerry, you know, would you mind, and you sponsored a table, would you mind if I came and spoke to you about the sisters?
So at first it's just stewardship. At first it's just learning about them. I would love to talk to you, engage you, and maybe for those first ones, you're not asking over the phone what they thought about the event. You want to meet with them in person and see what they thought about the event and see what the talk was at your table and engage them that way, or invite them. Hey, I would love for you to see firsthand the impact that your table made on my organization. So come and take a tour. Come meet my CEO or come meet my program director of XYZ and see what your dollars did. Because I thank you so much. Like, what you did was so amazing. We really appreciate you. And just keep doing a couple more stewardships. I wouldn't ask them for anything right away. But yeah. And then educate your board members.
The attendees, email address?
If they respond to the website for the event.
Oh, okay, you gotta find a way. You have to, ladies and gentlemen, find a way to capture their contact information of those attendees, whether it's through their, so we will make phone calls before the gala or before trivia night. When I used to do trivia nights, I canceled that anyways. Before the gala, and make sure I have all the names and at least an email address of their attendees at the table. One, I don't want an empty table, especially if they're a VIP, and two, then I have their contact information to follow up with them afterwards. So you have to get their contact information. But also, so if you're struggling with that with your donor database, that they are an older crowd, an older demographic, that's when your involvement people, your board of directors, so then you need to target new board members that are of a younger demographic, that are excited and movers and shakers, and they want to get out there so that they can bring in that younger folks, and you can educate them on your organization and how to do those invites. You have to educate them. They don't normally know how to, say come to on a coffee tour. Or come. The easy ones, what's great about having these events is it's such an easy way for your advocates, for your ambassadors to invite them to learn more about your organization, which is why I don't like them completely going away. Did that help? Anyone else have any advice for her?
Question though, how, you've worked with many different types of organizations. How do you get a president, a CEO involved when they don't want to be involved? For example, with a major donor, at an event.
So you're not going to change anyone. If that's their philosophy, unfortunately, you have to find someone else in the organization. So if you have a board member, depending on what you want to do, all right, if you're wanting them to call and make thank yous or be on visits, or maybe a board member that is just as well versed in your organization that would be good at that, or even better, program directors. They know the impact directly of what those dollars are doing, the impact that it's having on your demographic, your clients. Invite them on those coffees or those lunches. They can talk about that, whatever they're doing, the program that they're doing, even sometimes even better than the CEOs. Yeah, I was like, great question. What else do you guys got? Are you guys done? You're like, it's the end of the day. Almost out of here.
I read something recently that, and this kind of surprised me. They said, like for an impact report, you ought to always be talking about the past, not what we can do, but what we have done, and I never thought of it that way, but do you have any reaction to that? In other words, so you talk about this band, instead of saying we need money to buy a band, you say we bought this band and now we can take kids.
Yes.
X, Y, and Z.
Yes, exactly. So, yes and no. So if I haven't done, so the 24-hour campaign, the money's going to go towards and provide scholarships for kids that can't. I'm not going to name exactly who it is, but I'm going to tell them what their money's going to do. I can't exactly name specific kids. I can't say we bought a van, but this is what the money is going to be doing, and I can share a story of a family that could use the money. It's a little tricky, and it really depends on your organization and what your mission is and what you're doing. But I agree that it needs to be, being very specific about what their funds are doing. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. But the past versus the future. And it's trickier to describe the past. I mean, future.
Yeah. That's true.
Think about.
Yeah. And it depends on your timeliness too, on when you're sending it out. That's good.
I thought you were going back to what sisters used to do, what they were in the past, and what they can be now. But that is a challenge for religious orders. So to reframe how they did education ministry into how we do education today, it's in different forms, not the same delivery system, but always to connect back to, because that's the memory most people have, and we don't want them to stay with just what they knew them when they were their students or family or friends. But who are they to everyone today?
Interesting, thank you. All right, what other questions do you have? No? Think there are some more candidates? Okay. Well, how many of you guys are going to go back and do this with your team on next steps after your event? How many of you guys have an event coming up? Okay. What can we help you with that? Any brainstorming that we can do to help you guys with those events that you have coming up? No?
I think the challenge is always, at least for us, you know, I'm in the New York area, so I have to charge $400 a ticket to make this event profitable. Okay, because of where we're having it, the venue is charging me X amount per plate. And New York, you know, you have to have a fancy event in New York. But it's becoming more and more difficult to get people to attend those events, even if you have a strong honorary. They themselves might buy a table and then buy a couple of tables for the sisters to attend, or for friends of the sisters to attend. But again, the age group of the sisters, that, you know, to go down into Manhattan for a night out, it's a lot for them. So just getting people there, you know, but it's, my leadership team is just hell
No, do you
bent.
guys have sponsorships ahead of time that will eat those costs?
Yeah, we do, but let's say I have to guarantee 300 people at this event. Whether or not I have 300 people at the event, I have to pay for 300 people. So you giving me a table for sisters is wonderful, but I don't have 10 sisters to fill that table.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know,
So someone's donating tables for your event? Okay.
for
Do you have-
people to attend. So, I mean, there have been cases where staff has been invited, and family, anybody, like really, you know, what are you doing tonight? That
Yeah,
kind of
I mean, I
thing.
think it's better to
But-
have a butt in a seat than to have
Yes,
empty.
but sometimes it's still not doable, and yet they, you know, to give up this event, they just won't do it yet. So it's a challenge, a big challenge.
So what's the bigger challenge? Is it the cost? Because you mentioned the $400 a ticket, but then you also mentioned that people are donating the tables for you to invite other people. So is it getting people to pay for the ticket to be there, or just filling in those seats that are empty?
It's both.
Both.
It's both. I mean, $400, and this economy and the competition, you know, there's events going on in Manhattan all the time. You know, and ours is in May, so it's you know, it's a pretty good time of year, you know, before summertime and whatnot, but it's still getting people to the event and the cost of the ticket, and they won't move the event to any other place. It's interesting. It's
Yeah.
challenging.
Yeah. So who's holding on to that? The whole board, or the sisters are holding on to
Yeah, the
it?
system, you know, the president of the event, we call him the president.
When's she done?
That's what I was gonna ask. 4 more years?
So, yeah,
Okay.
so I mean, she just won't let go. Knowing the difficulty, I mean, last year, we didn't make the minimum. So we called everyone and anybody to come to that event, and they still had to pay for 40 seats that were not used.
So the minimum 300 no matter what?
Well, yeah, I mean, this venue has worked with me pre-COVID. I mean, they're very, very good to us, very good. And they originally, our guarantee was $350, and they brought it down to $300 for me. You know, and I still could not fill that room.
Interesting. Any suggestions for her?
I've like noticed the same thing. I just don't think people want to take time out of their weekend. It's like people have so much going on.
This is during the week, but we got
Okay, then I was gonna say moving
Same
it
thing.
to a week might help.
No,
Is what was
it's
my
a-
suggestion.
it's a Thursday night.
Even during the week.
It's Thursday night from 6 to 9, we get them in and we get them out, but New York, it's a very difficult market, very difficult.
So the ticket prices, I mean, I've had organizations that will sell tickets for $75 and can't believe that around here, the highest is probably about $200 or $250, not $400. Anyways, $250 and they're like, oh my gosh, how can you do that? But at the same time, if they can afford $200, $250, I want them in the room. If they can only afford $750 or $75. So you have a different audience if your ticket is higher and you have more of the demographic that you want there. So I like to elevate the ticket prices. I think ours are going to be $150, but they haven't done a gala before. So I'm totally switching it up with this organization right now. So we'll see how it goes, and hopefully next year we'll be elevated. But so going back to her and this challenge, did you guys see anything else? Anyone else from New York? Back here? Do you find the same thing? Same challenges?
We're significantly smaller, our gala. We had 250 and we were like over the moon. So it is smaller, it is expensive on like Rockland.
Okay, yeah,
But again, we're a retirement community, so our donors are older. The people that attend our gala are coming for the honorees. You know, we solicit and they're on our mailing list, but past gala, they're not really doing anything. But we do like sponsorship. We do a silent auction, and we do 50-50, and that kind of helps a little bit. I don't know if you do those.
I'm gonna go on my soapbox, I hate silent auctions.
Yeah, silent auctions never worked for us.
Do you guys do fund the cause, or fund the need, whatever people call these days?
Well, we have sponsorships, like, you know, for $20,000 is called the Founders Society, and then, yeah, we have different levels where you get, you know, one table and special mention in the journal and, you know, all that stuff. Yeah, so we do have categories like that.
Wonderful. So for my sponsorship, I have a sponsorship packet, I sponsor anything I can. If there's a bar, you can sponsor the bar. If there's a specialty drink, sponsor that specialty drink. The band, the music.
Flowers.
Yes, all that stuff is sponsored. Also having the tier. I do try to limit how many free tables or free seats that they get, just because exactly what we were talking about earlier, is that then you have an empty VIP table at the very front of your room and it doesn't look good, and then you're scrambling to try to fill that table, right? And then also going to say, so then people have silent auctions, which is great. If you have a great gala committee that's like 20 people and they're out in the community and they're gathering all those baskets and put them together, good for them. If you have an event coordinator that will do that for you, good for you. I just can't stand them, I don't like them. We do auctions such as like wine and whiskey pools, or we do, I forgot what it's called, golden ticket, where you pay $100 and you get a chance to have first choice at any of the live auction items. How many of you guys do live auction? So you do trips, you can do consignment, but you can also have your board members who have, I don't know, around here it's like a condo at the Ozarks, or a condo down in Florida, a condo down in Colorado. They'll donate those for a few days, and that'll be a live auction item. But we also have like VIP suite tickets for our hockey games or baseball games. Those will be a part of live auction. So kind of think along those lines for a live, like big ticket that you want to do online. You don't really want more than 6 because people get bored out of their mind, and you want to keep things going before you get to the live auction. You want to do a testimony, an impact statement, either a video or a live person talking about the impact that your organization is having, and then you go to fund the cause. So fund the cause, you try to plant someone in the room that can do higher up, because you don't want there to be crickets when you first name. So try to find someone in your board or in your VIP donors that can give $20,000. I don't know where you guys start, so if that scares you, I apologize. They can do $20,000. And then you're starting at $20,000 and you're going down from there. Then maybe down at your $100 level, you have like a little prize, maybe a whiskey raffle basket thing with tickets to a tour and whatever else, and their gift cards or whatever. How many ever give $100 at this level? You get entered into this raffle right here, and that's So that's the fund the cause, fund the need. Sometimes it's restricted funds, maybe it's for something specific. A lot of people like it to be unrestricted for general operating because that's what they can do, but still list out, name what their money could go towards. If it's unrestricted, could is a very key word. Or if it is restricted, ours are going to go towards scholarships to help kids be able to afford the services at Miriam School Learning Center. So it's very specific. We're going to talk about the kids that received it, talk about why it's important, what their families are going through, what they're choosing between education and food on the table, right? So that's fund the cause. Or need, whatever you decide. I like cause. All right, any other questions? So quiet. I don't think I've ever had such a quiet room before. Are we good on time?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for letting me
Thank you.
see you today.